Hi, I'm Boshoff. I'm a businessman that operates in South Africa, on the continent of Africa, and also in the developed markets. I've been a frustrated businessman in that I've seen all these opportunities that the world that we live in provide us, opportunities and white spaces that we can enter and that we can get into. But then 2 seconds later, I would open up the newspaper, I would switch on my iPad, and I would see the volatility, the risk, and the uncertainty that we all live in. I realized that I became very ineffective as a child of God in this world, and we've all been called to be change agents in this place. I realized though that it's not in myself, it's not my capability, it's not my smarts, it's not what I studied. It's about the grace that God imported into my life, and it's living from that grace that we've got authority over business, over the earth, and over this place that God has given us authority over. It's in that authority that I realized that we have to understand the world that we live in. The Pre-Sensing Institute of MIT gave me a bit of a model to understand the culture that we operate in. They talk about this dichotomy in the ecological divide, the first component, and then in the social divide, and then in the spiritual divide. In the ecological divide, they say that man actually thinks that it can and he and she can operate outside of the planet that it operates in. And that is why there's a 1.5 times ecological footprint, that we take 50% more from Earth than what she can rejuvenate and regenerate. And then a social divide where man thinks that we can live outside of a connection with other man. 2.5 billion people on this planet live daily with subsistence of less than $2 a day. And then the spiritual divide, the thing that man thinks that he can operate in a place that he is outside of God's will, outside of God's authority. That's the world that we live in. That is the culture that we operate in, a culture where we think that we can live disconnected from earth and from each other and from God. In getting God's authority into my life, I sought Him to understand what He wants from my life. I gave Him authority over my life. God came into my life and He taught me that He can give me authority by me submitting to His authority. As I take authority over my life from Him, I can take authority over His world. The key though is understanding His purpose in my life, His calling on my life. And if I live within that calling, the spiritual divide, the divide between me and God, is gone. But that has to flow, that understanding, that authority has to flow into my involvement of other people. And that understanding and authority then leads into me impacting the social divide. He called me into a business where we need to change things in people's lives. His authority made me a change agent. In the business that we operate, we live for 3 reasons. We want to get more people on the continent of Africa to save. We want to get those that save money to do so more effectively. And also we want to get more capital onto the continent for us to be able to grow the real economy. You see, my understanding of my authority in Christ gave me authority to help be part of changing the financial services industry on the continent of Africa. That is grace. That is authority. That is God.